Today we're checking out one of the most craziest steering wheels from Moza Racing, and when you take into consideration everything that I reviewed for them, this one is definitely an impressive one. We're talking today about Moza Racing Vision GS, and the Vision GS stands for this circular screen basically, but also because you don't have this connection right here. So the whole steering wheel is differently designed than any other of their portfolio, and compared to the FSR, which has more rectangular screen and let's say a bit bigger, this one is circular and it has a gyroscope. So because of it, when you rotate the steering wheel, the screen follows and stays in horizontal position, so you constantly have visual of the screen and in same position, almost in the same position. So what's it all about this steering wheel? 310 millimeter steering wheel, which features 2.85-inch 60 Hz HD circular touchscreen. This is also important. It's a touchscreen as well. Fully customizable UI system and quad-core processor for real-time display rendering. Now, it's crafted from aerospace-grade aluminum and carbon fiber, plus hand-stitched microfiber leather grips. Top-mounted RPM indicator, 8 short travel RGB buttons, and 72 programmable inputs. Now, this is insane. This is just the start. The visual aspect is spot on and really attractive, but the touchscreen has a point to it because you can effortlessly change the UI style by sliding the touchscreen up, down, left, or right. Basically gives you a chance to on the go switch through 10 presets, and as mentioned, complete freedom for you guys that you want to create your personalized UI dash display. And this is really straightforward. You can do everything in Moza Pit House. Now, talking about hardware, we have 1.3 gigahertz quad-core processor which performs the complex real-time display rendering. Now, the most important thing is that the screen, or actually the wheel, is equipped with the gyroscope and Moza software algorithms. This is what happens. This is how it stays horizontal constantly and gives you some sort of a visibility. Let's say screen remains horizontal, ensures latency and better visibility, and going to go definitely into details when we go into Moza Pit House. Now, top mounted RPM indicator has 10 high brightness LED customizable lights with 16.7 million colors, but can also function as a flag signal indicator, which means that if you're racing in, for instance, F1 and you have black and white flag, if you have a yellow flag, if you have a red flag, it will indicate immediately here without a problem. Craftsmanship is definitely something else compared to other Moza racing steering wheels. Aerospace grade aluminum alloy construction, which is used to craft with CNC the framework and backplate. Strength and rigidity, without a doubt. Then we have forged carbon fiber magnetic pedals with dual clutch, and they have non-contact Hall sensors with 0.03 precision for precise control. The pedals have pre-installed silencer pads, so the sound is definitely dampened down. It's definitely not quiet, like totally without any sound, but it's definitely dampened down compared to the FSR. You can switch the lower clutch pedals between single and dual clutch modes, which is basically ideal for switching between iRacing and F1. We are not done with carbon fiber, guys. It features a faceplate constructed from carbon fiber reinforced composites for strength and durability. As mentioned, 8 customizable short travel RGB backlight buttons, customizable dual rear buttons, 72 programmable input signals, and 2 dials and 3 knobs. Now, I mean, when you take the steering wheel in your hands and basically to check out where the button at the back is, it's quite important because you do need to have first for the gear shifting. It's quite alright. 31 is a bit wider. I think it's a bit wider than the FSR, but the buttons just need enough force when you're pressing them, and it's quite handy. Now, for the buttons on the side, you do have to a bit switch the position of your hand. So if you're trying to check this out, if you're trying to push the button here, you're moving your palm a bit. But the knobs here at the top are quite nicely accessible. The buttons in the middle are harder to access, and well, for the dials, it's quite normal. Basically, I made a mistake. You have 3 dials and 2 joysticks. So yeah, the dual clutch is basically almost the same. There's no difference. But when we take into consideration the gear shifters, Of course, it's not going to be that quiet when you're driving because you're not thinking about keeping it quiet. You're focusing on the road and on driving. Now, the thing is, you can use it on any Moza base, the new generation, and you can connect it via hub to your PC and use it on some other base. So that's really cool. Now we need to go to my sim ring and to check out the screen and how it actually acts when you rotate the steering wheel and what we can do in Moza Pit House as well. Okay, so now we're at Moza Pit House and we're gonna check out what's it all about with the Vision GS and what you could actually do right here. So basically, immediately when you go to Moza Pit House, of course, you can see the backside buttons. They are placed actually somewhere behind, so you could actually, let me see this. Yeah, you press it right here beneath. So this is where you get the access. Standard maximum steering angle adjustment, which is nothing new. And then we go with more. Now here you can do loads of stuff. So we have the steering wheel settings, and with the steering wheel settings you have the option to go with button numbers or key combination explanation, which goes into, well, basically going into Firefox and going into loads of details. Regardless of that, we're not going to go into button explanation this time. And then we head over to the right side of the steering wheel settings. Now we have steering wheel settings with dual clutch pedals. You can go with buttons, axis split and axis combination. And clutch point, you have the possibility to adjust that from 0 to 100%. Pedal travel, left and right, and bend knob mode, button or knob, stick mode, button or D-pad. With the key combination settings, you have button brightness, so we can crack it up to 15. And RPM LED brightness as well. Let's put that as maximum. Reset wheel parameters, calibrate pedals. That's all there is to it. Now, RPM LEDs, we're going to go with on, quite logical. Engine RPM indicator, display mode, mode 1, mode 2. Engine RPM indicator timing, you can go with early, normal, late, custom, depends on how you're driving. And of course you can adjust the intervals for each individual RGB, RPM, blinking color, and that's it. Now, let's see this. Oh yeah, you can go with blinking colors here to adjust individual lighting and stuff like that, and telemetry LEDs. Now this is where you can access and add what you want actually. So basically wheel spin, pit lane, pit limiter, anti-lock brake system, traction control, DRS on, red flag, yellow flag, blue flag, green flag, white flag. This is all that can happen here on the RPM indicator light, which gives you an option to basically give you some idea about it in those terms, like what's happening if you missed it on the track while driving or something similar to that. It will indicate it right here. Something similar that happens while you're driving, it indicates it on the wheel. And then we go with dashboard settings. Now right here you have the possibility to adjust the brightness. Okay, then you have dashboard gravity sensing. Now if you don't want to have the sensing, and if you don't want to the wheel to follow the gyroscope and to rotate the same way as it does, then you can just simply switch it off. Now when you do switch it off, it follows the wheel. So it's quite straightforward, simple. There's nothing particularly to explain right here, right? So I'm definitely going to stick with it. And here you have Formula One, GTVO1, GTVO2, GTVO3, JD and Gouge style 1, 2, 3, and Rally V1. So you can really go insane here. And we can go here with the new. So let's see. We press here new. Okay, confirm. And here you have loads of options. So let's see. Engine, fuel pressure, fuel temperature, engine RPM. Let's put this. Let's see how this goes. Okay. So this is engine RPM. We can place it. I don't know how this will actually impact, because we have engine RPM. The 0 is on the left. It's not on the right. So I don't know how this will actually, if I place it in the middle, who knows how will the numbers be expanded, let's put it this way. But let's go to the next one. So we have lap time, we have tires. This is good. You can put the temperature for each tire. So for instance, if you're driving Formula One, this is quite important. I mean, for every racing, but for Formula One specifically. Fuel capacity, let's see this. Oh wow, So you can basically do this, place a track, and then what I saw, now this is, I didn't test that out, but what I saw is that the track kind of follows the same way. So it rotates and you know actually where you're going, but basically you have to watch the race. This is good for checking out who is behind you, where it is, if you don't want to check out the seconds and all the other stuff, right? So it's really straightforward and really simple. You can play around here because you have loads of details. You can really make a nice custom preset here, save it, and use it for whatever you want, forever racing. It's all up to you to decide. I'm not going to go too much into details here because we're having loads of stuff, and this actually can be a totally dedicated video just to recreate something here. And I think on their Discord channel or anywhere else, you actually have a possibility to download some presets, and the community is really good, so you can basically do whatever you want, and that's outstanding. To be honest, that's outstanding. Now, I really want to drive a bit. I'm not going to save this for now. I really wanted to drive a bit to see how it is to drive compared to the FSR, because everything that I drove so far was with either the FSR, KS, GS, and what was the other one? Yeah, basically that's it. The R5 and R3 models I don't take into consideration because these are premium ones. I mean, the premium ones are FSR and Vision GS, right? But yeah, I mean, this is outstanding. As I say in each video, drive with gloves because you don't want to destroy the leather. I mean, you can't, but what I suggest always, your palms will definitely sweat after a couple of sessions or after a longer session if you drive through FP1, FP2, FP3 quali and then the whole race or mid race or whatever. That's around hour and a half, 2 hours. If you're really going dedicated, you're not skipping stuff, your palms will sweat eventually. So what I would suggest, strictly grab some gloves. Now, I do have to admit the wheel is really good and I'm enjoying driving it. It is a bit different than the FSR, of course. We have the dampening on the gear shifters. The clutch is basically almost the same. There's nothing different about this. And the rotational, the gyroscope on the screen is at first might be a bit distracting, just a bit, because you're not used to the screen following you constantly. And of course, you're more focusing on what you're driving instead of watching the screen. This is just in a couple of glimpses that you're checking with peripheral view and not constantly, fixating on it. The access at the back buttons is actually quite straightforward. So if you can normally press the clutch, the gear shifters, you can easily press the button at the back, which is really nice, accessible. Uh, ERS, it's a bit different. I enjoy it on the FSR because when you press the button, it's right on top, so you're not moving the whole palm, right? But this one, you do have to kind of stretch a bit. Well, not with the arm, of course. You're just stretching this part right here. Apart from that, everything is standard. I mean, when you're driving, you do have to, even on the FSR, you have to access the knobs. These are quite solid. So yeah, all in all, a premium steering wheel without a doubt. Impressive gyroscope on the screen, which can be modified, as you saw, extremely without a doubt. And that's all there is that I can say. The price is 100 euros more than the FSR, which kind of makes sense since we have all the processor inside and everything going on with the carbon fiber composite and the hand stitching leather. I mean, just insane. But yeah, if you're driving Formula, I don't know, maybe you'll be better with the FSR. If you're driving GT or anything similar, I mean, you can drive F1 as well with this steering wheel. But all in all, it's a premium wheel and they can back it up. The pedals, the body, the whole chassis, everything is outstanding. And yeah, that's it. The links for the Vision GS are in the description below. And if you want a bit wider screen, you can go with FSR, and I'll place the link for that as well. The one thing that you need to know, Vision GS has to go on Moza basis. So you can't go with the R16 that is version 1. You have to go with version 2. And that's all there is to it, guys. So thanks for watching. Again, the links are in the description. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell, and I'll see you quite soon. Bye bye.